So I want to welcome you all into the room. I am just going to mute everyone for now. But I really hope that you're having a great start to your week and that you're enjoying this offering. So we are on class 3 of 4. So right now, at the beginning of class 3, we're at like the halfway point. We have begun to unpack some of the historical context of where yoga has come from and some really key terminology we're working directly from the Upanishads. So the end of the Vedas being these scriptural texts, ancient texts from which the schools of thought of yoga and Vedanta and some of the other schools of Hindu philosophy stemmed from. And so I want to start tonight's class. We're gonna dive into a couple more key terms that you may be familiar with, but I'm going to start with story time. So we're going to have a little story. You can go ahead and get cozy. But we're going to start with the story of Narada, the great sage Narada. And so Narada was a sage and a wise person and was able to communicate directly with Source and could pass between earth and heavenly plane. And so Narada's this great character. And one day, Narada's walking through the woods on his way to go and commune and receive knowledge. And people know Narada can do this. And walking through the woods, and he comes upon a meditating yogi. And this yogi is seated and so deep in meditation that there's an anthill being built around their body. They haven't moved in many years. They are so deep in meditation that this anthill is rising up around them. But they sense Narada passing by and break meditation and turn to Narada and say, they ask Narada, would you please ask how many more births I need before I reach enlightenment? Been meditating here for so long. Please find out for me. And so again, this is coming from the Hindu tradition where there is this concept of reincarnation. And so Narada says, yes, I will ask. And carries on, and the man goes back into his deep state of meditation. And a little while longer, Narada's walking through the forest and he comes along this second person who is singing and skipping and bounding through the forest and smiling. And they strike up a conversation. They get to know each other a little bit. And after a bit of introduction, this jester type personality asks Narada, oh, if you don't mind, could you please ask how much longer will I be here? How many more births will I take in this earthly plane? And so Narada says, sure, I'll ask for you, and goes on his way. And so Narada goes to the temple or the mountaintop or the cave or wherever they choose to do this communion and receive this knowledge. And many years pass. And then, so many years pass, and then Narada is returning home after this time and is coming back through the forest and happens upon the meditating yogi again. And the meditating yogi turns to Narada. It's like, what did you find out for me? How many more births? And Narada goes, Source told me that you must take another 4 births. Another 4 births? Haven't I waited long enough? I've been doing this work. I can't believe this. Another 4 births. And they start shouting and lamenting. And Narada just walks on, letting this person kind of sit in that knowledge now that they have another 4 births to take. And continuing through the forest comes along this jester. This, again, this person bounding and skipping through the forest. And this person recognizes Narada as like, friend, I said, what did you find out for me? What did Source say about my future, my fortune? They said, Narada turns to the jester and says, do you see this tree? And yes, but what does that have to do with my question? Can you count all of the leaves on this tree? He's like, yes, certainly, I can count them. It may take some time, but I can count them. And Narada says, well, Source told me that you must live as many lives as the leaves that are on this tree. And the jester goes, oh, what a relief. At least I know there's an end. That at least they didn't say all of the leaves in the forest. And so with that, the clouds part, and this chariot comes down from the heavens and approaches the jester and says, won't you come with me? Are you ready to transcend? And the jester turns to Narada and is like, well, didn't you just say that I needed to wait as many rebirths as the leaves on this tree? And Narada says, well, it appears that you're ready now. You are willing to wait, and so why wait? And the jester gets in the chariot and goes up and transcends all suffering and becomes this enlightened being. And so it's just a funny narrative that helps us to illustrate that when we're ready and willing to do the work, that the fruits are going to be there for us, more available. And this story, we're going to start to relate this into some of tonight's vocabulary. And so, so some of the words that I want to unpack tonight for us, and maybe I'll get my teaching tool. So we're going to be looking at, first off, the first word I want to look at is Dharma. And so Dharma being a term that gets utilized in the Hindu tradition, in Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism. It's kind of a concept that's found in most Eastern traditions. And it's the idea of universal law. And so we have this universal law is the eternal order that rules the universe. And that's going to be governing all aspects of our life. And so it may be this idea that you have a duty. It's often translated as the duty that you have in this world. So some of us have a dharma to be a parent. Some of us have the dharma of being a warrior. Some of us have the dharma of being a monk or a devout person or an activist. So whatever role you fill. And this is also found in a lot of indigenous culture as well, that there are different clans or roles that we all fill in society. It takes many, it takes a village. And so we all have our personal dharma. And so it's important for us to fulfill our social, our political, our familial dharmas, to set in those roles. But most importantly is going to be our spiritual dharma, that we owe it to ourselves. We have a duty to tend to our spirit, and to get clear on that. And so, and there's many paths to that. And so in the story, it's illustrated. We have the meditating yogi, probably fulfilling their dharma. Their role is to be this devout monk type, to meditate, to be quiet. And then there's this jester type. Maybe their role is more familial, more engagement in maybe more of a place in a social setting. And none of the roles, there's no hierarchy. None is going to be a more direct path to enlightenment than any other, and that each dharma can get us there. It's just we need to tend to that dharma. So let me write these words down. So we have our dharma, just so that to give you some context. So great. Awesome. And so we have a duty to tend to our dharma, because the ultimate goal, and when we fulfill all of our dharmas, we're going to be able to transcend a bit of suffering. And the dharma very much relates to the Four Noble Truths in Buddhism, that there is suffering, and that that there's suffering, and that there's a cause and reason to that suffering, but that suffering can end, and that the path to the ending of suffering is, in some ways, it's the fulfilling of our dharma. And so dharma correlates directly to our next term, which is going to be samsara. And so fulfilling our dharma leads us to the escape of samsara. And samsara literally translates from Sanskrit to mean wandering. And so you may have heard this word before. Samsara is the cycles of birth and death. And whether or not you subscribe to any ideas around the process of reincarnation, there's still a lot to gain in the examination of this terminology. And so it's this cyclical, circuitous changing that's always happening. That yes, you may not feel that there's a direct reincarnation, but there's no denying that that all energy gets recycled through. That you can't, that our matter just doesn't disappear. That it has to become that there is death and birth and death again, and it's this cycle. And so we have this cycle of samsara, and so we're trying to escape that cycle to some degree. That there is a level of suffering to that cycle. And how do we move beyond that? And ultimately, and this was a word we touched upon last week, is this idea of being liberated from samsara, and that's moksha, or liberation. So it's moksha in Hinduism. In Buddhism, it's nirvana. We try to attain the beyond. And then, so that cycle of birth and death can also be known as our karmic cycle. And so looking at the concept of karma, which is something that's a more familiar word perhaps for us. We've heard of karma, and that's the reap what you sow term, that there is cause and effect in the universe, that my actions will bring about either a positive effect in my life or a negative effect in my life. And that idea of karma is another thing that comes directly from these texts. That's where it originated. So we're diving into the origins of yoga. And it's just this concept of karma was right there at the beginnings, that I need to tend to myself so that I can put as much good out in the universe as I can, because that's what's going to come back to me. And so these words are as part of our origins. And we're going to continue to unpack this as we go through our movement practice. But tonight we're working with Dharma, or the universal law. Samsara, or wandering. And then karma. Or action. And so I recognize the board's a little far away, but it's hard to reposition the camera. But we're going to examine some of those as we go through our movement practice tonight. And so thank you all for joining me. And then, yeah, let's go ahead and we're going to come to standing. So you can come on up to standing in your bodies. We're going to find Tadasana. And so standing mountain pose. And so we've worked with this in our last few classes, a little bit, usually after we've stretched out a bit. But here we're going to start here tonight. So we're growing our practice. Our warm up will be in this forward facing standing self. So you can go ahead and turn your palms forward. Lift up all 10 toes, spread them out like a paper fan, and then set them back down. You can rock a little bit forwards and backwards on the feet. Just recalibrating your body for your practice until you find your new center. And then from this place, reaching down into the earth from all four corners of your feet, take a deep breath in and out. Good. And just deepening your breath. So we're going to spend a moment here connecting in, growing your breath, sending the shoulders down the back. Getting a lift out through the crown of the head. Very good. And we're going to just open this time. I'm going to chant out a traditional opening prayer for us. And so this prayer, it means to call in the teacher within each of us, that our highest teacher is not someone outside of us, that it is the wisdom that we carry, our own intuition, our ancestral knowledge, our essence. It's all deep within us. And so it's meant to call in your inner teacher. So continuing to breathe deeply as I chant us in with this prayer. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Gunaktu Saha Viryam Kardavavahai Tejasvinavadidamastu Ma Vidvishamai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Peace. Very good. Taking a deep breath in and out. We're going to begin to link breath and movement very simply. Taking a deep breath in, palms forward. Exhale, bring your hands to the heart. Good. Inhale, scoop the arms up and wide. Look up between the hands. Exhale, turn the palms out and float them back down beside you. Super simple. Good. Turn the palms forward. Inhale. Deep, full breath in, full capacity of the lungs. Exhale, bring the hands to prayer in front of your heart. Good. Inhale, take the arms out wide. Take the gaze up to the sky. Inviting in your practice. Exhale. Inhale, palms forward. Inhale. Exhale to the heart. Maybe the thumbs touch the sternum. Inhale, let the arms go wide. Bring them up to the sky. Look up between your hands. Get long through your spine. Exhale, hands float down slowly, either side by side. Good. We're going to build on this and begin to fold. Inhale, palms forward. Exhale to your heart. Inhale, scoop them up to the sky. Exhale, as you lower the arms down, start to hinge from your waist, hinging forward, 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 and come down into a forward fold. Bend the knees as much as you'd like. Inhale, come up flat back, half gazing out from your spine. Squeeze your shoulders back towards your hips, and exhale, fold. And then we're going to come up. Inhale, take the arms wide, unhinge from the hips, come all the way up, look up between the hands, and exhale, release. Palms forward, inhale. Exhale to the heart. Inhale, scoop it up to the sky. Exhale, we fold these bodies all the way towards the earth. And then come up half gazing, flat back. Hands just slide up the shins. Exhale, folding. Inhale, scoop and rise. Exhale, release. The arms come back beside you. Good. We're going to do that one more time. Palms forward. Inhale, receiving the breath in. Last week we talked about prana. So this life force energy from the breath, we draw it into the body. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, scoop it up, stretch your body long. Exhale, fold, hinge from your waist. Inhale, rise to the horizon. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way back to standing. And then exhale, hands come down. We're just going to bring them down straight out from the shoulders. So halfway down, reach them straight out from your shoulders and find a T shape with your body. Make this perfect T. From here, let's inhale. Flip the right palm up to the sky and exhale, lean to the right. Lean, lean, lean. And then inhale it back to center. Flip both palms. Flip your left hand. Exhale, lean to the left. Reach, 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 lean. Good. Inhale back to center. Exhale, flip the palms and reach to the right. Root through both feet and just maybe this little baby lean as if you're offering something to someone on the other side of the room. Come back to center. Exhale, take it to the other side. So it's a reach through the arms. It's working with balance in the body. Move with your own breath, just reaching side to side. That's offering. So a lot of times this idea of our dharma, our duty in the world is going to be to serve others. It's very few of us, especially in this day and age, the yogis say that the age or the time of going into the cave, that you could just retreat to the forest and do your personal work. The age of the guru, it's over. We've entered a new age, and it's this, so you're going to continue to move with your breath as I talk. But this new age is very much more of a collective age that we need to band together as a race, as a human species, working together. And so this posture, maybe just calling upon this idea of what is your dharma, your duty, your place in our collective, offering side to side. Good. Maybe one more time in each direction. You can start to feel your arms are probably getting tired. We're going to continue to work this way. So coming to center, turn both palms down, facing the ground. And we're going to start to make tiny circles with the arms. So make teeny tiny circles and make sure your forward and backward stroke is even. So you're not making your circles all the way out here. It's pulling back just as much as it's reaching forward. So they can start small and then start to grow your circles. It's your wingspan. Good. Making these big full circles. So we're going to work with some circular motion tonight in different ways. Idea of the cyclical, circuitous cycles of birth and death, Good. Deep, full breaths. Go as slow or as fast as this feels good. We're just bringing fluid into the shoulders, these joints. And then at some point, you're going to change direction. So whichever way you're moving your hands, if you're doing big circles, go ahead, slow it down, change direction, big circles the other way. I know the arms are probably getting tired. This is weightlifting. We're lifting the weight of our own bodies, our own arms. Good, and just breathe into that. Breathe deeply. You can do it. I know you can. Good. You make those big circles, and then you're going to start to spiral it back into center. So shrinking that circle little by little. Back to center, nice and slow. Forward and backward or even, so that the center of your circle is spiraling right into the shoulder. Bit by bit, make that tiny. Come back into those teeny, teeny, tiny circles. And now you should really be able to feel the fatigue in the arms. I know I can. Feel that fatigue, tiny, tiny, tiny. Then come to stillness. Reach out in the T formation. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale very slowly as if you're pushing a pool noodle underwater on each side of your body. Let the arms float back down beside you. And just let them drain back to neutral. Let your body find equilibrium again. Good. And let's just take a few neck rolls. So you can let the head fall to one side. Release the jaw, let it fall forward. Bring it around to the other side. And you can just horseshoe forward and back, side to side, if that feels good. Or you can take it all the way around. Just doing a few neck rolls. Release the arms, release tension in the shoulders. Making sure to go both directions. Good, and then picking the head back up on top of the body once you feel even. From here, we're going to inhale both arms up to the sky and interlace the fingers. From interlaced fingers, go ahead and put your pointer fingers up towards the sky. So you're steepling the hands a little bit. Pointer fingers up. And so this is Kali Mudra. Kali being a fierce, she eats your demons. She's this fierce demon slayer. And this is her sword. And we're going to lift that sword up to the sky. And then we're just going to tick-tock side to side. So root through your feet. Take a deep breath in at center. And then exhale, take it to the right a little bit. And then inhale back to center and take it to the left. Good. Inhale back to center. Exhale to the right. And center, exhale to the left. Good. Let's go one more time to each side. As you come to the right, we're going to hold it there. So reaching out, shooting out to the right, getting taller, breathing, relax. The collarbone, the shoulders down the back. If this reach in the arms is crowding your neck, make sure you're dropping your shoulders down. If you need to put a little bend in your elbows, you can put a little bend in your elbows. You're leaning out. And then from here, maybe you shift all of your weight into that right standing leg and you point your left toes out to the side, making a little kickstand. Good breathing. And if you'd like, maybe you even balance enough to lift those toes off the ground and just shoot out in that crescent lean out to this side. Breathing. Good. Controlling your breath. Maybe there's a slight constriction at the back of the throat, helping you to siphon the energy off of that breath as it comes in. And exhaling it through the nostrils as it comes out. For 3, 2, 1. Good. Go ahead and set that foot back down. Coming through center, take a deep breath in. Exhale, lean it over to the left. Lean it over to the left, root through the left foot. Take a few breaths here. And maybe you kickstand the foot, the right foot now out to the side. And that could be enough right there. You may keep the toes touching down. Or you may find that you want to find balance and lift those toes off of the ground, shooting out, breathing. Excellent. Again, so we're working with now, as we hold postures, the Ujjayi breath. The Ujjayi breath, I think I introduced in our first class, the victorious breath. And it is a slight constriction in the back of the throat, and it's like Darth Vader. You are breathing in heat, and you are breathing out heat. Good, it's fiery. Through the nostrils for 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and come back to center. Set the foot down. Release the hands and slowly let them fall back beside you. Good. From here, we're going to work with now, we did some simplified versions of a sun salutation with those initial folding. Now we're going to build on that and do the traditional sun salutation as our warm-up. And so come to the top of your mat if you aren't already there. And you're going to stand in mountain pose. Have your hands beside you, palms face forward. Inhale here. Exhale, bring it to your heart. Inhale, scoop it up to the sky again. Exhale, fold. Hinge from your waist all the way to the floor. And then inhale, come up, half gazing. Exhale, fold again. Hands on the ground, bend the knees as much as you need. Step the right foot back behind you. You step it back, and then you lower the knee down, relax the foot back, and you find low lunge. Good, you can take the hips. You want to rock a little side to side. We're just finding our first low lunge. Getting long out through the crown of the head. Good, plant the hands, turn the back toes under, and step it back for plank. So your first plank. Strong plank, pressing into fingers and toes to get a lift through your whole body. Good. We're going to hold this for 3, 2, and 1. Drop the knees to the ground. Toes stay curled under. The knees are on the ground, hips stay high. See if you can lower your chest and chin towards the floor with your hips in the air. This is a curvy posture. Elbows tucked in close to the body. Chest and chin come down low. Good. And then from there, send the hips to the ground. Glide the legs back. Press the hips into the earth, and we come up for a baby cobra. Gaze turns up. Shoulders slide down the back. And for this first one, let's hover the hands. Pick your hands up off the ground and see what your low back is capable of doing all on its own. You're pressing tops of the feet and hips, pubic bone into the mat to get a little bit. And you may be very low. You might be hovering just an inch or so off the mat. That's going to be perfect. Wherever you're at, breathe. Excellent. Lower your hands to the floor. And we're going to come back through downward facing dog, an inverted V shape. So you can turn your toes under. You can come up through tabletop on your knees and then lift up into your down dog. Or maybe you just come right up into it. We're finding downward facing dog. Good. We're going to spend 3 breaths here. So if you want to pedal your feet a little bit, you can pedal the feet. You're going to plug your arms into their sockets and hammock the chest back towards the thighs. Good. Take a deep, full breath. And then looking up between the hands, it's going to be the right foot that steps forward. So maybe you lift it up to get some momentum, maybe not so much, but you look up where you want to put it and you step that foot there. If it doesn't get there, reach back with the right hand, grab it, bring it up. Low lunge on the other side. Relax the foot back behind you. It's very tempting, because you know where we're going next, perhaps. We're going to go into a forward fold next. It's very tempting not to set down the knee and just to stay in high lunge, but we're going to do the work. We're doing it fully in all earnestness. So you find that low lunge, you drop the knee down, you wiggle the hips, you enjoy the journey. But it's not about the end, it's not about the end destination, it's about the journey. That's a lesson that is present in yoga and every other mindfulness tradition that there is, and then just life as it unfolds. It continues to teach us that lesson over and over again. Good. So we are coming towards forward fold, so bringing the left foot up to meet the right. So get grounded in that right foot, turn the back toes under, step it up, and fold. Inhale to rise, unhinge from the waist, coming all the way up. Exhale, back beside you. Gorgeous. We're going to do that again. Enjoying the journey. Very much relating to this idea of karma that we must, this sowing. Like we reap what we sow. And what we sow, we want it to be beautiful. We want it to be intentional. And we want it to be experienced. And we want to be present for every moment of our sowing of things. And so as we move through these sun salutations, just practicing with your full presence right here, right now. Turn your palms forward, inhale. Exhale, bring it to the heart. Inhale, scoop it up to the sky. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold again. Plant the hands, left foot steps back behind. Step it as far back as is comfortable and set the knee down, come down, low lunge. Good, take a breath here. And then we're going to retain that breath. Hold that breath within, collect energy from the breath, and come back into plank. Step the other foot back, good. And you can be on the knees too if you prefer. Just engaging your core, and then exhale to lower. Knees come down, chest and chin come down, exhaling all the way down. Hips stay high. Inhale, lower the hips, and come forward and up with the chest and chin for a little cobra. Press the tops of the feet into the ground. Good. And then exhale, press back into your downward facing dog. So tabletop perhaps, or straight back. Downward facing dog. Inverted V. Taking 3 breaths here, a few breaths. You can pedal the feet. Or just find stillness, whatever feels good. We're reaching the heels downwards to open the backs of the legs, to stretch the hamstrings. Your tailbone is reaching up to the sky. Imagine that there's a little puppet string connecting your tailbone to the ceiling. It's getting tugged on, it's pulling upward. Very good. From here, we're going to get ready to step the left foot forward. So looking up between the hands, left foot steps forward. Knee comes to the ground, low lunge on the other side. Deep breath in. And then exhale, the right foot steps forward, forward fold. Inhale to rise all the way. Exhale, release. Good, turn the palms forward, inhale. Exhale to the heart. Good, inhale, scoop it up. Exhale, we fold to the ground. Inhale, rise flat back. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands, step the right leg back, knee down, low lunge, inhale. And then retain for plank. Turn the back toes under, lift the knee, strong plank, press. And then exhale to lower, knee come down, chest and chin come down, hips stay high. Inhale, slide forward, cobra. And then exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Good, just do what you can. Child's pose, always an option. Taking a break if you need it. And then getting ready to step up with the right foot, look up between the hands. Right foot steps forward, knee to the ground. Breathe in. Exhale, left foot steps forward. Good, inhale to rise. Exhale, release. Turn the palms forward, reset breath. We inhale deeply. We exhale, we bring it to our heart. Inhale, scoop it up to the sky. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands, step the left foot back behind you. Left foot this time reaches back, low lunge. Inhaling. And then we retain for that plank. Good, strengthening move. Fingers spread wide to hold you up. Nice straight body. flat plane. Exhale, lower knees, chest, chin to the floor. Inhale, slide forward for cobra. And exhale, press back, downward facing. Good, 3 breaths. Continuing with that victorious breath. So you should be able to hear your breath between your ears. But they say freedom begins between the ears. And so yes, there's with our thoughts, maybe even connecting with our breath. From here, we're going to step the left foot forward. Left foot steps up, knee to the ground. Deep breath in. Exhale, right foot steps forward, forward fold. Inhale to rise, root to rise, press into the feet from all. And exhale, release. Good, we're going to build on this. We're going to start to incorporate some other some pretty big postures, some power poses. And so turn your palms forward, take that deep breath in, receive energy from your breath. Exhale, bring it into your core being, into your center, into your heart space. Inhale, scoop it up to the sky. Maybe there's a little back bend at the top. Just open your heart. Exhale, fold the earth. Inhale, rise flat back. Exhale, plant the hands and step the right foot back behind you. And then from here, we're going to come into warrior 1, Virabhadrasana 1, where we drop the heel. So that right heel, you're going to pivot the heel down, drop it down, and you're going to rise yourself up. See if you can find balance in this power stance with the legs. So left knee is bent, right leg is strong behind you, and your hips are straight forward. This is forward-facing warrior. So we haven't yet worked with warrior poses in this, this intro class. So our warrior self, this is power stance. And so we have this powerful foundation of our legs holding us up. And so this back foot, we want to anchor down through even the pinky edge, that blade of the foot is also a big piece of this, holding us up. All 4 corners of the front foot. You can feel activation in the legs. And let's inhale the arms up to the sky. Good. Inhale the arms up. And let's go ahead, sink a little deeper in your hips and cactus the arms. You're forward facing, you're going to cactus the arms. Squeeze your shoulder blades together on the back body, exhaling. Good, we'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, cactus the arms. Good, 1 more. Inhale to rise the arms. Exhale, squeeze your shoulder blades. Good. Inhale the arms back up. And then we're going to open it up for warrior 2. Now sideways facing warrior. You're going to open out to the right. So your hips open and your arms open. And you're going to reach fingertip to fingertip, getting long through the collarbone, the upper back, the shoulders, the arms. And turn your gaze and look out over those left fingertips, that longest middle finger, as you sink a little lower into your hips. Good. And so there's a story. This is a text that's more modern. We wouldn't call it modern, though. It's not as old as the Upanishads or the Vedas, but another text is the Bhagavad-Gita. In the Bhagavad-Gita, there's a lot of the story revolves around this character Arjuna, and Arjuna's Dharma, his duty, is to be a warrior. And so this is, we're embodying that warrior stance here. We're going to flip the front palm, and we're going to draw it up to the sky for peaceful or exalted warrior. And so you draw it up, and that might be a little side bend, or it might be very deep. Good. But yeah, Arjuna is realizing that he doesn't want to fight, so he is this peaceful warrior, but he can't deny his dharma. He's the best warrior there is, and he must battle in the story. And so it's just it's one great text, ancient text for examining the concept of dharma. And then inhale, Head and arm come back up together. And we're going to bring that left arm to the thigh. So go ahead and place your forearm on the thigh, elbow is bent, and then the right arm is going to come up to the sky. Reach up through that hand, little firecracker hands, energy through the fingertips, sink down low in your hips again. I know the legs are probably getting tired. You're going to take this power stance, breathing. Maybe you even lower the arm alongside your ear. Good. Deep, full breath. And then from here, take your gaze down to the floor in front of you. And we're going to get ready to fly into airplane or warrior 3. And so, and you may need to reposition yourself in order to get ready to do this. But one way to do that is to pivot your back heel up, and start to inch that foot forward and see if you can, it can be a baby airplane. You can have the toes touching down behind you, or maybe come up, arms extended for balance. You're flying out. Warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3, flying warrior. A little bit of bend in that standing leg so you don't lock out the knee, breathing. And then whenever you're ready, maybe you bring your hands to the floor, very slowly with control, make a big wide tripod and lift the right leg to the sky for standing splits. You're supported with this tripod. Use your hands to help you stay up. Breathing, lift, lift, lift. Lift as high as you can. Good, and then we're gonna bend that left knee, bring it in, tuck it in like a little flamingo, and step it down next to its mate. Step the right foot down, send the hips back in space. We're gonna come up through chair pose. So it should feel like a little bit of relief. Now we're standing on both legs right underneath of us. We're gonna send the arms forward as we sit the hips back. Draw the thumb edge of the hands back behind the ears as much as possible. Breathe, take a deep breath in. Press into the feet, root to rise, come all the way up to standing. Good. Little back bend at the top. Exhale, hands come to beside you. Woo! Good job. Take a breath or two to reset. Turn your palms forward. We're going to do the whole thing on the second side. We're going to move through all of our warrior self. So palms turn forward. We inhale. Exhale, bring it to your heart. Inhale, scoop it up to the sky. Little back bend at the top, perhaps for folding. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, half gazing. Shoulders back towards the hips. Exhale, fold. From here, plant the hands, and you're going to step the left leg back behind you. Stepping that left leg back this time, and we're going to find warrior 1. Send the heel down. So you pivot your heel down, and you rise up. And so when you're setting up your stance with your legs, it's like the back heel should be on the same railroad track as the front foot. The back toes are, yes, they're coming off the track at an angle, but the heels are in alignment and you sink through your hips. And then our tendency of our bodies is for the knee to collapse inward. We want to draw that out wide to the right. Pull the knee out wide. And we send our hips straight forward like headlights. For this forward-facing warrior, we lift the arms up. Inhale, exhale, cactus the arms, squeeze the shoulder blades on the back and sink deeper into your hips. Good. Exhaling. Inhale, rise up with the arms. Exhale. You can exhale through the mouth if that feels right. Good. One more. Inhale it up. Exhale. Good. Inhale, the arms come up. We're going to open it up for warrior 2. So open the arms. Take the gaze out over that front right fingertip. Strengthening the legs, all 4 corners of both feet rooting. You sink a little bit deeper. Have your eagle eye reaching, your gaze reaches beyond the fingertips, maybe beyond the room. Imagine you could see straight through the room or anything that you feel is containing you. You can penetrate that and you can stretch far beyond. You're stretching through fingertips. Good. And then peaceful warrior, we take We flip the front palm and we bring it up to the sky. And the other arm can slide down the back leg, but you're not dumping your weight into it. All of your weight is being held up by these legs. So maybe you even let that arm go. Good. Breathing. And then inhale, lift head and arm up together, coming into side angle pose, where the forearm comes to the thigh. Left arm comes straight up to the sky, stack the shoulders, gaze up at that top hand, and illuminate your fingers. Energize your breath. Turn your palm forward and lower your arm alongside your ear, reaching fingertip to pinky edge of the foot. So that whole line of the body getting really long. Good. And we're going to get ready to fly next. And so getting ready, look down at the floor in front of you, and getting ready to come into airplane. So you can come into this however you'd like, but you want to stabilize that standing right leg and have the little kickstand behind. Gaze is important. So giving yourself something to focus on, but not moving, is going to be really helpful. And again, that victorious breath. Breathing that victorious breath, help you balance. If you get the breath under your control, then your body becomes a little bit more under your control as well. Good, and then from here, you're going to start to tip forward and find that tripod effect for standing splits. So hands come to the ground. Left leg reaches up, 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 up to the sky. Breathing deeply. Getting that stretch, imagine you lift that leg as high as you can. It's okay if it's not very high, it could be low. Wherever it's at, you're lifting it to your personal highest today. Added challenge is going to be to make that tripod smaller. The smaller the tripod, the harder it is to balance. And then from here, coming into chair. And so you start to bend the knees, step the left foot next to the right, root down through both feet, send the hips back. Find your chair seat, sit in your bar stool, your high bar stool, or maybe your low little baby chair, and then swing the arms forward. Swing forward, forward, forward. Draw the thumb edge of the hand back behind the ears, sink down, breathing. Very good. And then inhale, root to rise, come all the way up. Standing, little back bend, and good. From here, we're going to step wide on our mat. Stepping out wide on our mat. Feet are wide. And you're going to turn your toes straight forward, if not slightly inward. And this is just to help protect the sciatic nerve in the low back as we do a forward fold, a nice wide-legged forward fold. So you can start with your hands on your hips. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale, hinge from the waist and reach forward and come straight out, hovering. You can pause here on the horizon line. Just getting strong in your legs, holding you up. And then whenever you're ready, let yourself dangle, let your head fall, let yourself fold a little deeper. Maybe you release the hands to the ground for support. And maybe you start to shift your weight a little bit side to side. You can wiggle in this fold. And then come back to stillness. Let yourself dangle. You can open the mouth, stick out the tongue, release tension in your jaw. Maybe you take the hands and you reach through the legs, back behind you. Fingertip, walk your hands a little bit further into your fold. And then come back to center with the hands. We're going to take them over to the right. Walk your hands over to the right and bow towards the right leg. Just a breath or two here before walking the hands over to the left. Finding your left leg. Nose reaching towards the knee. And then coming back to center. From here, come up halfway, half gazing, coming straight out from the spine. Exhale, fold again. And from here, we're going to turn the toes out wide to either side. And you're going to start to send your hips to one direction and then to the other. So you're coming down a little bit lower on your mat and working with almost a side lunge, or this is called Skandasana. This is a little side-to-side action. So maybe you come towards one side and your hips reach down towards your heel, and you lift the opposite toes up towards the sky, getting long leg. Maybe you point, flex that leg. And this is just playful, whatever feels good. As you come to one side, you can, some people find that the foot being flat, this foot being flat, or you might find you're on your toes. Whatever your body, you're just going to have a natural inclination towards one or the other. You're going to walk side to side. So getting lower to the earth, working with mobility in our hips. Very good. And then from here, we're going to transition into a low squat. And so you're going to start to bring the legs in closer together. You're going to keep the hips low to the ground, and you're in your nice low yogi squat. And if you're able, it's sometimes really nice to find prayer hands and to take the elbows into the knees and to let the knees go wide, opening your hips even more so with that gesture. And your low squat might be a little bit higher, just whatever's comfortable for you. Taking a breath or two here. And then we're going to find the ground. And so sit your hips down on the ground and take the feet straight out in front of you. We're going to come into Paschimottanasana, or the posture of surrender, which is just a forward fold. Very simple. I like to grab the flesh from under my seat and just to coax it out to either side so that my sits bones are really rooted on the ground. And let's start by setting ourselves up in a perfect right angle. So you can bring your hands beside you, beside the hips, palms face down, press the heel of your palm into the earth, and come up really tall through the crown of the head. Send the shoulders down the back, shoulders away from the ears. Flex through your heels and draw your toes back towards the rest of your body. Good. And so this is incredibly activated. So you're sitting in staff pose or Dandasana, and your whole body is very awake and alert. And you're breathing deeply, growing taller and taller and taller. And then from here, we're going to get ready to fold our bodies in half. And so you can inhale, take the arms up to the sky, keeping that activation in the legs. Energy through the fingertips. And then exhale, start to hinge from your waist. Hinge, hinge, hinge as much as you can. And then your body's going to come to a natural stop at some point. You can go ahead and pause there and then just let yourself melt into this. So hands drop down. Your head can drop down. Good, just breathing, letting yourself surrender. So what are we surrendering to? Surrender to gravity. We have to surrender to these cycles that we are born into. Surrender to this wandering. We're going to stay here for a few breaths, but letting yourself melt, and then there's no judgment here. So you may feel like you're not very folded, and that's perfectly natural, especially the start of a practice. And that's going to be just fine, but you'll notice in just the small amount of time that we spend here that you can grow this posture with your breath. And so I want you to ride the breath like a wave. You're surfing the breath. And so you can close your eyes, taking a deep breath into your body and send it down into your low back, then maybe up into your middle back, all the way up. Maybe you get a little bit longer, taller, you're lengthening, puffing up a bit. And then as you exhale the breath out, you make a little bit more space for yourself to fold just the littlest bit deeper. And that could be a micro movement. Maybe it's not seen by the eyes. It's just something you sense from within. Continuing to ride your breath. We're just going to stay here for maybe 3 or so deep, full breaths. And your hands just rest wherever they want to. There's no rules. Yeah. Very good. Ride the breath to your fullest fold for this evening. And then on your next inhale, you're going to reach the arms forward and rise. You're going to unhinge from your hips, rise all the way back up. And then the arms are going to come down behind you. Fingertips towards the back of the mat. They're just behind your hips. And we're going to come into a reverse plank or an inclined plane where you press into the heels and you lift the hips up, press into the arms. And you can maybe, if you're comfortable, let your head drop back. If this is too much, you can bend your knees and come into a reverse tabletop. We're just here for a breath or two. Inhale. Exhale. And then maybe one more. Inhale to rise. Exhale, we lower hips all down to the ground. And then from here, let's lean to one side and kick the legs around behind us, coming onto our bellies. So you're going to spin yourself around your mat. Come down onto your stomach. You're down on your belly. And you're going to take your hands back behind you, palms face down. And your chin is on the ground. So your throat is getting long on the mat. And we're going to work with a modified version of the locust pose. So your hands reaching back behind you. Chin is down. Keeping the chin down. On an inhale, lift the right leg, point through the right toe. See if you can lift the right leg just a little bit, hovering off the ground. Doesn't need to be much. Trying to keep the hips squared. You're lifting the right leg up. Deep full breath. And then exhale, lower it down. Good. Now the other side. Inhale, the left leg floats up. Breathing. See if you can hold for a breath. And then exhale, lower it back down. Good. From here, let's see if we can lift both legs up. Keeping chin and chest down. Inhale, lift both legs up. They don't need to lift high, just a little bit. Lift, lift, lift. Inhale. And exhale, lower. Good. Now switching. Keeping the feet anchored down. Inhale, lift head and chest up. Keep the hands down. Just lift head and chest. Feet stay anchored. Lift, lift, lift. Inhale. And exhale. Good. From here, we're going to take the hands and we're going to reach them forward. Think YMCA on the ground. So big Y shape, hands pointed forward. And then from here, let's lift the head and chest up. So very similar, but now we have the support of the hands for a moment. You can maybe even spider mudra, the hands coming, making little teepees, coming up onto your fingertips, lift up. Lift the chest. Good. And then maybe the hands float. See if the hands can float. Engage your core a little bit. Shoulders do not crowd the ears. There's spaciousness there. Good. And then maybe the legs float as well. Press down through your hips. Pubic bone. It's like you're flying Superman out. Good. Breathe. And your gaze can be down on the mat in front of you, just to bring the neck in line with the spine. Good. Breathing. Inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Good. From here, let's keep the left side of the body really long on the ground. So take your left arm, reach it straight forward, set it down. Take your left foot, pick it up, point the toes, and then set it back down. So you're getting really, really long on the left side of your body. Then from here, bend your right knee and see if you can reach back with the right arm and find that foot. So make a connection. And then just settle back down, straight forward on the mat, and squeeze the foot to the hip. Good. From here, kick into the hand, and we're going to come into half bow pose. So we're just kicking into that one side. So on an inhale, we kick into the hand, we lift up. Gaze is straight out in front of you. You're breathing. Little half lift, little back bend. You can even, if you like, you can use the front hand like a kickstand. You can lock the arm into its socket and walk it a little bit closer to you if that's available for your back bend and where your back flexibility is right now. Good. Breathing. Kick into the hand just a little bit more. Deep, full breath. And then exhale, hold the foot as you lower back down. Give the foot a squeeze into the hip. And then let it release with control back behind. And we switch sides. If you'd like between sides, you can bend at the knees and just windshield wiper the legs in and out. Or side to side, whatever feels good. Rocking through your hips, rocking the low back should help move any tension. But then we're going to get long in the right side. So right arm reaches straight forward, right leg, it reaches straight back. You bend the left knee, and you see if you can reach back and make contact with that. If you need to half roll up to make that contact, you do that. Whatever you need to do to get hold of the foot or ankle, and then you roll back down, you come back to center, you grab the foot, you give a squeeze towards the hip. And then whenever you're ready, on an inhale, you prepare to lift up into that half bow pose. So inhale, kick into the hand, half lift in the body, gaze is forward, breathing. And you're just coming to a place that you can maintain. So 40% capacity is fine.
Good.
So kick into the hand, lift it up. That's good. And you can create, again, that kickstand effect, that locking the arm into its socket and walking it in if you wanted to come up a little bit into more of a curve of the spine. You're breathing. One more deep, full breath here. And then exhale to lower all the way down the foot. Squeeze into the hip. And then release it back with control. Let it float back. Take the hands under your shoulders and press yourself up and back into a child's pose. So the knees go wide, the hips reach back towards the heels, and you rest your forehead on the ground. You really want your forehead to make contact with something. If it can't find the earth, if that's too low, you can take a fist or two and let your brow rest on the fists. You just want to make the connection of that brow center to something, that touchstone. And then whatever that is, maybe there's a gentle nod or rocking, maybe there's a side-to-side motion, that you massage your brow either into the fist or into the earth. It's a nuzzling. This being your developmental, it's something we all do as infants to start to gain spatial awareness, recognition of the world around us. It's this contact with our forward-facing self. We're just starting to come into a little bit of a sweeter space. So we did our warrior postures, we did some bigger moves through our practice, and now we're going to start to come into a sweeter space. We're going to work with our breath. So we're going to spend the next few minutes doing a breath work practice. And so you can come up to seated and finding a comfortable seat. And this might mean that you might want to sit in a chair or find a cushion to sit upon. Whatever's most comfortable for you. And we're going to work with, so we're introducing some pretty essential pranayama techniques through these beginner classes. And tonight I'm going to introduce a technique of alternate nostril breathing. And that is the Sanskrit name for it is Analoma Viloma. And so our bodies have a natural mechanism where our nostrils will alternate dominance every 40 minutes or so. As we're nose breathing, one nostril is doing the majority of the workload at any given time. It's more open than the other. And this is a balancing breath, and it's meant to kind of reset that mechanism. And on the subtle level, what this does is the yogis talk about energy channels in our bodies, and there are some pretty central ones that run along the length of our spine. So there's a central Sushumna nadi, and this word nadi is energy channel in yoga. And it's likened to the meridian system in Chinese medicine.
The meridian. The middle of the body?
I'm not sure what meridian being
What does that even mean?
like a ley line.
Got it. Who cares? Go on.
I'll look it up. But
no, don't. We're great.
And so we have these channels, and there's a central Sushumna, and then helixing, and that's like the Sushumna is like our spinal column. It's very much associated with the spinal cord, and it's from which this has a lot to do with Kundalini yoga, and it's this channel through which the Kundalini would rise, and it's what the chakra system, if you've ever, and we're not getting into all of this, we're not going to unpack all of this tonight, but the chakra system is lined up along the Sushumna central channel, but helixing around the central channel are the Ida and the Pingala channels. And so they start at the base of the spine and they helix up, if you think of that DNA spiral. And at each point that they cross, that's supposed to be the chakra system. Those are the wheels of the chakra, the center. And so the Ida governs our moon energy, our the feminine aspects, creativity, flowing, watery moon side, and it must be the yin and yang, like the yin and yang or yin yang symbol, and that starts at the base of the spine and helixes up, and it ends at the tip of the left nostril. For y'all. And then the Pingala is that's the yang, the sun, the heating, the masculine, our active self, our activating, action-oriented, accomplishment-driven self. And so, and that helixes up and ends at the tip of the right nostril. And so this breath is meant to bring us into balance with our aspects or our own duality. And so we're going to work with this. So it's a lot to unpack.
No, it's great. Sorry, I'm not supposed to.
And so we're going to work with a hand gesture to help us do this. So I want you to take your right hand, you make a fist with the right hand, and then stick out your thumb, and then your last two fingers, the ring finger and the pinky finger. So it's this weird yogi rock on symbol. And then, so this will become our tool for one nostril at a time. The thumb would block the right side. So you can bring your thumb to your right nostril and then it blocks the right. And then the ring finger touches the left nostril and you can breathe out of your right side. And sometimes I like to hold open my airways with the opposite fingers. So it's right and left. And we're going to do this together. So you have this is called Vishnu Mudra, Vishnu hand gesture. And we're going to use this hand gesture together, and I'll guide us through. And so sitting up nice and tall, you're going to inhale through both nostrils, deep full breath in, and exhale through both nostrils. And then blocking the right nostril with the thumb, let's inhale slowly just on the left, breathing in through just your left side, and then blocking both nostrils for a moment, a little pinch of the nose, not too hard, just a touch, and then open up the right and breathe out on the right. Empty, 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 breathing out, good. And then we stay breathing in on the right. Now it's time to take it in right side. We breathe in. And then blocking both nostrils for just a moment and opening up on the left and breathing out. Very good. In on the left now, breathing in. 1, 2, 3, 4 second inhalation. Retain just a moment. And then open up on the right. Let's breathe out for 4. So equal, maybe even longer. Exhaling 3, 4. Empty, empty, empty. Good. Inhaling on the right for 1, 2, 3, 4. And retain. Let's see if we can retain for 4 seconds as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. Open up on the left and exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Even longer if that feels good. Emptying, emptying, emptying. And then when you're ready, you inhale on the left. Breathing in. And then retain for just a moment. And you go at your own pace. If my counting is not serving you, go ahead and move side to side as you need to. You're going to open up on the other side now. Exhale. Relax the face. Empty, empty, empty. When you're ready to inhale, you inhale a nice full breath in. Feel the breath go all the way down into your belly, into your ribs, into your chest, filling up, expanding. Then retain, hold the breath within, collect energy from the breath, feel the exchange. And when you're ready, the exhale can be as long and slow as you can make it. Really emphasizing that exhalation. And then inhaling deeply to do it all over again. I invite you continue to practice this in all earnestness. Don't cheat and breathe through your mouth. Just go side to side. This is calling in balance. We all want to be more balanced beings. So it is a sense of balance that is crucial to enabling us to be able to fulfill our Dharma, as we talked about. We all have many hats, many duties, many obligations that we need to tend to, and socially, familially in your family, politically, societally, and then spiritually. And we need to be well balanced in order to be able to take on all of that, to be present for all of that. Good. So I invite you to stick with this exercise, maybe a few more rounds for as long as it serves you. And so knowing that this can be a really potent pranayama, and the longer you do it, and with more practice and with earnestness, with intention, it can unfold into really beautiful experiences in your body. And so if this was your first time trying this tonight, it may just have felt foreign and very much focused on the task at hand. But I invite you, we are going to do this again next week. So as we start to learn it, but we're going to start to transition now. You can stay with us as long as you'd like. We're going to start to transition into our Shavasana, our final rest. And so from wherever you're at, once you're ready, you're going to close the eyes and start to come down to reclined. And so you can hold onto one shin, maybe, and roll yourself all the way down to the ground. So finding yourself in Shavasana, so feet slightly apart, hands slightly away from the body. And I invite you now to maybe apply tension over your whole body, just to remind ourselves what it feels like to come into deeper relaxation. We can squeeze the feet into fists, squeeze the hands into fists, squeeze the buttocks, squeeze the abdomen, squeeze the chest, squeeze The shoulders, the face, squeeze, 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 everything nice and tight. And then exhale, release. Drop the hips, release the fists, release the toes, release the face. And take 3 full deep breaths. With each exhalation, releasing tension out through breath. Invite the breath in. Let it cleanse through your body. Let it sweep through, collecting any tension, soothing it like a salve. And then as you exhale it out, it is carried away from your body and it's dissolved. It's cycled through, back through the world beyond our bodies. Just settling in, gifting yourself these few minutes. We just have a few minutes here in our Shavasana. Knowing that this time to assimilate some of the lessons, some of the movements, the experience, very valuable. There's no wasted time in yoga. And so the invitation is for you to remain in your Shavasana, in this conscious rest, for as long as you'd like. Continuing to gift yourself this time to prioritize your own well-being, your own state of peace. You're tending to self so that then you can accomplish some of the vocabulary that we unpacked tonight, that you can accomplish your duties, that you can abide in this universal law, that you can find flow with that instead of fighting against it. That these cycles no longer have to be that of suffering. They come into harmony with cycles. That you can tend to your karmic garden, if you will. That this time in relaxation and in rest can help you to be a better sower. Knowing that this state of peace, calm, harmony is your birthright. It's your natural state. That all of the pooling of our society and the conditioning that pulls us out of this state is a construct. It's fighting against our true nature. We should get to live in this state of peace at all times. As much as possible, we try to remember. So that is the practice. So again, invitation is to stay here for as long as you'd like as I close us out. Hari Om Tat Sat. This is the truth. the truth that we know, that we feel, that we experience in our own body and our own minds. Namaste.